Howdy there, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today on Facebook Live. My name is Christian Barnes, and I am the lead financial coach and founder of Do Better Financial. This week, we're going to be going through all of the different, not all of them, we're going to be going through most of the parts of the CARES Act stimulus bill. Yesterday, we covered the stimulus payments. If you missed that one, you can check it out on YouTube or on my personal or business page, which is Do Better Financial, for both of those. But today's topic is actually unemployment benefits. So these benefits are going to be in effect for the remainder of 2020. And this new bill includes some things that unemployment has typically not covered in the past. The biggest one being that part-time workers and self-employed people are now eligible, right? So if you were somebody who worked part-time at a restaurant or any other business that's been affected by the shutdowns that have occurred as a result of the current climate that we're in, obviously, you are now eligible. Also, self-employed people, all of your benefits are going to be calculated based on previous income. So that could get a bit difficult if you haven't been keeping great books, but it's probably going to take them some time to get to you anyway, because so many people are applying. So what you can do is go ahead and figure out what you need based on your state. All of these things are going to vary pretty widely by state, but go ahead and get on the website for your state, see what they require, see what paperwork you need to fill out or where your online application might be if that's applicable, and get the process rolling. Because so many people are applying, it could take a little longer for you to receive your benefits. I've been told before that these benefits can take quite a while anyway, so expect the wait to be a little bit longer. So even if you think you might be able to get a job at a place like an Amazon or an HEB, it's good to go ahead and get in line just in case some of that stuff doesn't flesh out, right? So like I said, the benefits are going to vary pretty widely, but the basic gist is that eligible workers are going to get an extra $600 per week on top of their state benefits, which will last for up to 4 months. So that is in Texas, the current max benefits are $521 a week. And so that would bring you up to $1,121 a week if you qualify for this. The current state benefit, they also give you an additional 13 weeks of unemployment benefits. And if you have already run through your state allowed benefits, you can reapply for this additional 13 weeks. So for example, in Texas, the max benefit, why is that so hard to say? The max benefit is $521 per week, and you can have it for up to 26 weeks, which is half of the year. With the new allowances under this bill, under the CARES Act, you would be able to get $1,121 per week for up to 39 weeks. Now, this is the current bill. If circumstances change, obviously people have been extending their stay home work safe programs, or their shelter in place, or whatever they're calling it where you live. They've been extending those. I saw one that's even been extended until June 30th or something like that. So this could change as the situation continues to change. Those are the current Texas benefits, and if you're interested in applying in the state of Texas, you can go to the Texas Workforce Commission website. I'm going to share that with you in the comments when this is over. Here's an example for Louisiana. The max benefits there are actually $247 a week. So if you added this to your new CARES Act benefits, you would be able to get $847 per week for up to 26 weeks was previous. So now it will be 39. And so similarly to the state of Texas, you would be able to get extra benefits for up to 39 weeks. And it's the Louisiana Workforce Commission is their website. So this includes people who have been diagnosed with the virus, people who are taking care of people with the virus. Thanks for joining me, Brenda and Pam Poole. People who are parents who have kids that are out of school, and so they have to stay home in order to take care of those kids, and in general, jobs affected by these closures. So that's going to include a lot of small business owners, and also people who work for themselves. Like I said earlier, you're now eligible if you're a part-time worker. Hi, Grace. Thanks for joining me. If you're a part-time worker or a self-employed person. So all of those people, if you have been affected, either diagnosed as a caretaker, a parent with kids out of school, or in general your job has been affected by these closures, you are now eligible for unemployment benefits and you can apply in your state. There has been a temporary moratorium on evictions for properties with mortgages backed by Freddie Mac, or Fannie Mae. So any government-backed mortgages have a moratorium on eviction. Now, certain states and municipalities are also offering moratoriums outside of that. So obviously your landlord or whoever holds your mortgage, if it's not a Freddie Mac or Fannie Mae loan, they still could go through the proceedings of doing a lot of, they could go through the eviction proceedings, but your local authorities probably are not going to evict you, but you should definitely look into that information. I do believe there's one in place in Harris County currently, but it is a federal moratorium if you have a mortgage that's best backed by Freddie Mac or Fannie Mae. Don't know why they made rhyming names. That makes it harder for me to say. Also, if you personally have a mortgage on your home that is backed by Freddie Mac or Fannie Mae, there is a program. They are encouraging these lenders to work with you, right? So give them a call, tell them what your situation is, that you have been adversely impacted by this virus and that you need some help, right? And so they will be working with you. They've been extending their loan payments, and not working with people who are struggling for up to a year to defer payments, and to make arrangements. Because here, let's be honest, guys, banks do not want your house. They want your money. And so knowing how many people are suffering right now, it's not in their best interest to have a replay of 2008 and just foreclose on a bunch of stuff, because they still lose money, right? They can theoretically still sell these houses, but they're still going to lose money because nobody's going to buy them for what you bought it for when you bought it, right? So that being said, hi Dad, thanks for joining me. So that being said, call them, talk to them prayerfully. And I'm being honest. I cannot tell you for sure that everyone who you owe money to is going to work with you. But my true hope is that people realize that there's just not any money to go around, and they can either evict you and have nobody move in because everybody else is also struggling, or they can work with you, and then you can be eternally grateful, and then you can be the best tenant they've ever had, right? So just so you know, there is nothing federally preventing utility companies from disconnecting any service at this time. So technically, light companies, internet companies, water, gas, so on and so forth, technically they can disconnect your service for non-payment. But we're about to get to, and I've already mentioned it, the biggest point that I want to make in this entire thing is you need to over communicate with the people you owe, whether that's the landlord, the mortgage companies, your utility people, whoever it is. Over communicate with them constantly. Let them know, hey, this is what I'm dealing with, this is where I am, and work out something, right? So one of the most important things, I mentioned this yesterday when we were talking about the stimulus payments, and I'm going to mention it again, is you need a budget. You might be saying, but I don't have any money coming in, or I have a quarter of the money coming in that I had before. You need a budget even more now because there's so much less money to go around, right? So we're going to be talking about like a bare bones budget here. We're talking about just covering basic food, housing, utilities, and transportation. So obviously, there's a very real possibility that you won't be able to cover all of those with the current money that you have, but you need to write them down so that you know what they are, number one. And then the second thing that I'm going to ask for you to do is create what I call a pro rata plan. And so pro rata plans are not a permanent solution. This is just a stopgap. Now, obviously, we're not expecting this to last forever. Eventually, you will be able to go back to work, but while you are unable to work, or while the place that you work is currently closed, you have the option to use this plan to be able to negotiate with the people that you owe. So here's how pro rata plan works. You're going to divide your current income by your previous income. And I'm going to explain why in a minute. For an example, let's say you normally make $4,000 a month, and this month you're probably going to make $1,000, right? So $1,000 divided by 4,000 means that you're making about 25% of what you were making before, right? So hold on to that number, 25%. Now what I want you to do is multiply that percentage by each of your bills' minimum payment due. So for instance, if you have a bill that is normally $100, so for us, our electricity bill is normally $100, so we're going to go with that estimate. Hi Rosette, thanks for joining me. So if you have a $100 bill, you have a $100 bill due to your electricity provider, you would multiply it by that 25%, and then you would say, this is what I can now pay you, right? I can pay you $25. And you would contact each lender, let them know what you were able to pay, and then you would move forward in negotiations, prioritization, things like that. I want to make sure that you prioritize your four walls. So make sure you're the first person that you're dealing with. If you have money that you do have to be able to allocate to something besides just food, right? The first thing you need to do is make sure everybody can still eat. Second thing you need to do is try as best as you can to stay in your home, right? So that would be the first one on the list. The next one is definitely going to be the lights, because that keeps your food fresh, and it allows you to cook, particularly if you have an electric stove, so on and so forth. Your other debts or any other people that you owe. So for instance, let's say you have that $1,000 and you call up the light company and you say, I've only got 25, and they say, look, if you want to keep your lights on, you have to pay us at least 50. That means that money is going to have to come from somebody else, right? So that might mean that you're going to have to cut something off that you normally would have on, like an internet provider, and maybe you can call them and see if you can, kind of pin them at each other, and also remind them, hey, everybody's going through this. I know this is going to hurt y'all too. I get that, but I ain't got no money for y'all, right? So over communicate with these people, contact them regularly. And I want to encourage you, if you're watching this video right now and you're thinking to yourself, I don't need unemployment insurance, my job has been unaffected. Congratulations. You are so blessed, but you know someone who has been affected by this. Get them this information. Second, people that I want to share this information is business owners. If you have employees who you've had to furlough or their job positions have been eliminated completely, you should share this information with them. Let them know what they're eligible for based on this bill. So the last thing I want to share is, if you're having issues with food insecurity, if you're not able, like I said, if your income dropped from $4,000 a month to zero, if you're not able to just meet the basic need of putting food on the table, in the city of Houston, the Houston Food Bank is a great resource. I'm going to put a link to their website and all the different resources that they offer in the description below this video. I'm going to ask anyone who has not been affected or adversely affected, you can either donate money or time. They still need people to help pack things so that they can get out to the different distribution centers and the different food banks around the city. If you are not somebody who is immunocompromised in any way, and there's a list of what that means, things like diabetes, hypertension, anything that has a respiratory element to it. If you're not one of those people, taking care of one of those people, or living in close proximity to one of those people, and obviously you're not sick yourself with anything, right? And you are able and willing to help with the physical labor of making sure that people in our city can continue to eat through this difficult time, go ahead and volunteer your time. They always have slots that are available for sign up. If you are somebody who has extra funds available to donate, do that as well, right? The Houston Food Bank is considered essential, so they are still open, but now more people need food than did last week, right? So they're always accepting donations of time and funds. So that's pretty much what I have for you as far as unemployment insurance goes. Like I said, remember that part-time employees and self-employed people are now eligible. Go ahead and apply while you have the chance. I know they said that there were issues with the website and things like that. Be patient. Obviously, there are a lot of people who need this service, so it's going to take a little bit longer than it did in the past, but keep pushing forward. Don't give up on it. And I'm going to be back tomorrow. This was part 2. Part 3 is coming up tomorrow. We're going to be talking about some of the miscellaneous parts that may not be getting a lot of play, like retirement accounts, HSAs, charitable contributions, things like that. So the next day is actually going to be student loans. I know a lot of people are going to be really interested in that one. Hey, Robette, thanks for joining me. And then last but not least, on Friday is going to be small businesses. So if you have a small business, know somebody with a small business, make sure to let them know to come tune in. I'm doing a lot of research on that one, because from what I've seen so far, it's not the easiest thing to understand. So we're going to try to break it down. I'm going to be trying to get some information from different sources to make sure that everybody has the information that they need to get through this difficult situation. So I want to thank you so much for joining me today. Again, my name is Christian Barnes. If you have any questions, you can send them to me via Facebook at the Do Better Financial page, or you can email me at Christian, like the religion, at dobetterfinancial.com. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow at the same time. Have a good week. Bye-bye.